Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, and it's the 4th of July Independence Weekend, and the program Arizona Roundup is a real firecracker for this week, so let's get to it.
Welcome to Arizona Roundup with Stuart Rosebrook at Charlotte Hall Museum. My special guest today is Helen Stephenson, the founder and executive director of Prescott Film Festival. Welcome to the show, Helen.
Thank you so much. I'm glad to be here.
Well, Helen, we've been talking about having you on the show here for a couple of months. I was looking at some of my emails, and I think we were talking about having you on the show as early as March, but timing sometimes is everything.
Yes, definitely.
And here we are, right on the verge, one of the biggest months of the year for Prescott, Arizona. Some people call it rodeo month. Other people are starting to call it film festival month.
Yes.
So, Helen, how long have you been here in Prescott? Are you from Arizona? What brought you to Yavapai College and Prescott, Arizona?
I was born and raised in southern Arizona in Bisbee and Douglas.
Oh, great.
Yes. So, and then I went to school in California and had the first part of my career in California. Went to college, got my bachelor's degree. And then in 1995, I moved to Prescott. There had been an earthquake in California the year before, and I decided I did not like earthquakes. I want to go home to Arizona.
That's fantastic. So let's talk a little bit about, I have family from Bisbee and Douglas, and the Silva family. They've been down there a long time. And are you a Bisbee High School graduate or Douglas High School?
Douglas,
yes. All right.
Yes.
Great rivalry there between those two towns.
Yes.
Right down there on the border. Do you get back to Bisbee Douglas very often, or have family still there?
I don't have family down there, but I do go down there because I love to touch base with where I grew up. I grew up on 40 acres in between Bisbee and Douglas.
Oh, sure. Beautiful country.
Yes, it is just beautiful. And sometimes even though we don't own the house, I drive by and just, it's way back off the road, but it's just fun to touch base with where I was from.
Right. I was just at a family reunion, and my uncle Tony Silva's family is from Bisbee. And, we were talking about the fact that Prescott and Bisbee are two sides of the coin. They're mile high. They have a mining history past. They're the hub city for their region, have grand history. And they're two communities that are very in touch and proud of their history and culture, and also their wonderful historic downtowns.
Yes, definitely. Beautiful downtown.
And I was down in Douglas a couple years ago, and we went out to the Yavapai Ranch to visit with the Glenn family. And but it's been a while. I'd like to get back down there and also visit. They have a couple of great hotels, and one in, of course, the Gadsden in Douglas, and then the Copper Queen.
Yes.
In Bisbee.
Yes.
What a heritage community. If you're on a heritage trail in Arizona, and filmmaking history, there's been some quality films that have been made in the Bisbee Douglas area.
Oklahoma was made there.
That's right. And I think Easy Money with Lee Marvin and Paul Newman, I believe, was right there in Douglas.
Yeah.
And I grew up in Southern California. My mom was raised in Phoenix, and my dad had gone to the Orem School here in Yavapai County. So it sounds like you ended up somewhere in Southern California for work. Mm-hmm. Were you there working in the film industry, or?
Yeah, we had a production company, my first husband and I, and we did independent film for several years, and yeah.
So it sounds like the Northridge quake kind of rattled you out of the San Fernando Valley.
Yes, I was done.
Well, that's our fortune for you to move here. And now, did you join the faculty at Yavapai soon after that, or how did this develop, the relationship with the college and the film festival?
Well, I started the film festival first. I started researching in 2008, and then in 2009, got the nonprofit paperwork filed, which I always like to share. Elizabeth Ruffner helped me do that paperwork.
Oh, she's the best.
She was the best. And so we started a monthly series in 2009, and then in 2010, we started the annual festival. And then in 2013, a position opened up in the film school, which was at that time in Sedona at Yavapai College. And I was hired to change it, to make it so that it was more accessible to people. And also, everything has changed. Obviously, every year it changes.
Sure.
So I was hired in 2013 by Yavapai College to run the film program.
Very interesting that the college classes for filmmaking at Yavapai College were in Sedona, which of course has such a rich history of filmmaking, not as old as Prescott, but a lot of filmmakers. Yeah. It was, if you couldn't make it to Monument Valley, there were all those years where the backdrop of the Red Rocks of Sedona were a great substitute for Monument Valley, or some would argue vice versa.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So when did the film school, your classes and the film festival really center completely back here in Prescott?
It was, let's see, we moved to the Verde Valley campus first. We were in Sedona first, and then the Verde Valley campus, I was there for maybe 5 years. Mm-hmm. And then they decided to do nursing in the space. It's always been physical space that has moved us, because Sedona moved into a different program, and then the Verde Valley campus moved more into nursing and medical, and great. We need those nurses.
Oh, yeah, we sure do.
For sure. And when that happened, then we moved the whole film program to Prescott.
Okay. So how long have you been here centered in? Is it COVID time you moved, or?
It was right before that, probably 2019.
Okay.
Something
all right.
like that. Yeah.
And the film festival has always been in Prescott, not in Sedona or the Verde Valley.
Right. The Sedona connection is that the director, Pat Swice, of the Sedona Film Festival was my mentor in starting the Prescott Film Festival. So he's an amazing person. He's very generous with his time and knowledge. And so then the Prescott Film Festival was a nonprofit before I was at YC, of course. And then in, I think it was 2021, my husband, Don, and I donated the festival to Yavapai College so that it could continue after us. We're just two people, and you need a strong organization behind you to keep something running beyond us. So that was the idea of that.
Well, that's what an amazing legacy to have brought that, imagined it, birthed it, nurtured it,
yes.
And then, have provided such a gift to the community and the college.
Thank you.
And so what year is this? What year are we celebrating?
15. This is
That's a big year.
It's a big year. And the gemstone for 15 is ruby.
Uh-huh.
So we leaned into that quite heavily by doing Wizard of Oz, ruby slippers, right?
I love that. That's fantastic.
Thanks.
Well, this is everybody's hometown here in Prescott, Arizona, and we're going to take a short break and come back and talk about how those ruby slippers of the film festival bring everyone back home to Prescott, Arizona.
Thank you.
Life is full of moments we want to cherish forever. But when the unexpected happens, having compassionate guidance makes all the difference. For over 120 years, Ruffner Wakeland Funeral Homes and Crematory has been helping families in Prescott and Central Arizona honor their loved ones with care and dignity. At Ruffner Wakeland, they believe every life deserves a unique celebration. From personalized ceremonies to heartfelt support, we're here to guide you every step of the way. Ruffner Wakeland Funeral Home, here for you at your time of need. Visit ruffnerwakeland.com for more information.
Welcome back to Arizona Roundup with Stuart Rosebrook at Charlotte Hall Museum in Prescott, Arizona. And my special guest today, my friend Helen Stephenson, the founder and executive director of the Prescott Film Festival. It's 15th year. It's a big year. And you said 15 is ruby. And that's why fans can come out and see The Wizard of Oz on the big screen.
Yes.
Right? This isn't in one of the smaller theaters. No. This is on the big screen. Tell us a little bit just about the magic of seeing The Wizard of Oz on the big screen.
My hope is that some of the younger people who've never seen The Wizard of Oz will come and see it on the big screen for the first time. Because it's more than watching the movie. The movie itself, of course, on a big screen is amazing, but it's an interactive sing-along. So we have...
Wow.
Yeah. So the first 350 people that arrive will get little bags that have little props in them. And there's a leader to tell you what props to use for what thing that happens.
Okay.
Like when there's somewhere over the rainbow is playing, there's a little cardboard rainbow, you can do. And when you go home, you can have the little cardboard rainbow. When there's, when they're in the poppy field and there's, that pollen stuff going all over the place, we have bubbles, little thing of bubbles. So you blow bubbles and the poppies go. And Jenny Bilbray, who works at Yavapai College in the library, is a huge Wizard of Oz fan. She has a whole room in her house devoted to Wizard of Oz memorabilia, and she's going to do a little trivia contest right when we get there. And then Nanette Hofer is going to lead the sing-along, and she's an amazing singer and just a beautiful stage presence, just so enthusiastic and fun.
So this is kind of the family-friendly Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Definitely, definitely. And coincidentally, the Hazeltine Theater is doing the live play, The Wizard of Oz.
Really?
Yes. So we are going to, we invited some of the actors from the play to come, and they're going to help lead the singing and give out the prizes for the trivia contest. And
How fun is that?
I love working with other organizations.
Yeah.
Yes.
I had never seen the book adapted to a play until it was adapted at my daughter and son's high school in Iowa City, going back now about, I'd say 9 or 10 years. And it's something to be in the Midwest when they created at West High School some amazing special effects of the tornado and the thunderstorm, and you're in tornado country.
Yes.
I'll tell you, that movie as a kid, it came on once a year. It was always a big deal when it was on TV. Mm-hmm. Of course, none of us seeing it on TV knew what a groundbreaking film it was in terms of its black and white and color.
Yes.
And how its widescreen. Mm-hmm. But I will say, it was for me, I thought it was a very scary movie as a small boy.
How old do you think you were when you saw it?
I'd say between 5 and 9 is when I really, the first, and it would be like every year it was circled in TV Guide. Okay, The Wizard of Oz is on, and we'd all gather in the living room and watch it. And in those days when, either if Gone with the Wind or Wizard of Oz or Sound of Music, it was an annual event once a year on TV, way before VHS and DVDs and, home movies and all that streaming. It was like, okay, tonight we're watching Sound of Music. This is the one time we get to see it this year. So yes. I think it'll be really fun for fans of cinema, families who've never seen the movie, to see it on the big screen. Mm-hmm. I believe it's 1939. Is that right?
Yes, that's correct.
And that was a big year for filmmaking. Gone with the Wind. Yeah. Stagecoach. Yeah. Just to name 3. Yes. And I know that, but film historians who study filmmaking, that was a very big year. Mm-hmm. And you had the development of sound in the movies for about 10 years where this was a year that was a breakout year in terms of technology and filmmaking.
Yes. Yes, definitely. Yes.
So, so that's going to, if people want to see The Wizard of Oz at this year's film festival, can they buy just a single ticket, or do you have to buy the whole package? How do you get to see this movie?
Their single tickets are for sale on the ycpac.com website. Yes.
All right. So what's that website again?
It's ycpac.com.
All right. ycpac.com.
Yes.
All right. Now, The Wizard of Oz is just one of many films that are being shown this year. Yes. And it's one of your cornerstone films and events on Saturday. But this film festival kicks off July 16th, which is Wednesday, runs through Sunday the 20th. Mm-hmm. There are lots of different packages you can buy if you are either coming up here for the whole week or for the whole show, or you live here and you go like, oh, I want to do this. I want to see as many of these films as possible. How do you put a film festival together, Helen? I mean, you've been doing this for a while. What do you start with when you want to start a film festival?
Well, you start with finding the films.
Okay.
And that was a challenge to us when we first started, was how do you get filmmakers to want to participate in your film festival.
All right.
And our solution to that was to build a fantastic website that shows that we're a professional organization. And my husband, Don, happens to be a software engineer. And so doing a website is no jump for him at all. So he was able to put together something that's beautiful and very professional. And then you started calling filmmakers, and now there's platforms that you use where you say, okay, our submissions are open, please put your films in. So submissions is one way we get films, and the other way we get films is through what we call curation. And we have Mike Simone he was a curator for Scottsdale International Film Festival, and now he's our director of curation for the film festival and a board member. And he goes to different film festivals. He goes to film festivals all over the world, and he brings back those films and if they're willing to share them with us. And it's a complicated dance because you go to a film festival, you see a film you like, but if it's going to be streaming before our festival, we're not going to put it in the festival. So that's the kind of the time span has gotten smaller and smaller for that. Because we used to start in November, we would start looking at films and
juried. You kind of a juried system. People would you'd hear about this filmmaker. You might have a theme. Do you come up with a theme of what you're looking for or what you announce for people to apply to be part of the film festival, or is it organic and then it kind of comes together?
It is organic and it comes together. You could have a whole documentary film festival, but then it's only documentaries.
Sure.
So we like to keep it open to what is available, what is new. For example, our closing night film, the last film in competition, obviously the final event is the Silent Symphony at the Elks. But before that Saturday night is the Hail Mary, which is a film that this gentleman that has been to the festival 2 other times, Daniel Roebuck, is his film that's in his heart. You have something that's just in your heart and soul, and he made this film. He wrote it, produced it, and directed it, and he's coming to Prescott to present it to the audience.
And it hasn't been streamed. You can't see it anywhere else. He's only taking it to festivals right now.
Right.
That's a special. So I think that's important nuance for a lot of people that, are maybe new to film festivals, or maybe they're not new to film festivals, but they go to nostalgia festivals where it's just a theme of, noir or John Wayne or action pictures. Like, if you go to Winterset, Iowa, to the John Wayne Birthplace Museum, you'll see a set of Westerns, that are attuned to that weekend.
Yeah.
But this is very special because you attract filmmakers. They say, I want to go to Prescott. That's one of the places I want people to watch my film for the first time. So why don't we take a quick break, and we're going to come back and talk a little bit more about that film, Hail Mary, but also the other films that are coming here, and who comes to watch the films who are in the film industry. Because obviously there's some networking that has to be happening in Prescott, Arizona here in a couple of weeks.
Right.
All right, we'll be right back.
At Foothills Bank, they're not just about banking. They're about people, community, and building futures. Whether you're managing personal finances, growing your business, planning for retirement, or buying your dream home, their friendly team is there to guide you every step of the way. Stop by your local Foothills Bank today. It's more than just banking. It's a partnership for success. Foothills Bank is a division of Glacier Bank. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Welcome back to Arizona Roundup. This is Stuart Rosebrook at Charlotte Hall Museum, and my special guest today is Helen Stephenson. She is the founder and executive director of the Prescott Film Festival, and we've been having a really good time talking about film history, her career, talking about some of the films that are going to be debuted or only currently shown at film festivals. And just before the break, we were talking about a new film called the Hail Mary, which will air Saturday, July 19th at Yavapai Community College.
At the Performing Arts Center.
At the Performing Arts Center. And you can get your tickets where?
ycpac.com.
All right. We'll keep trying to repeat that for everybody to get. And so you're talking a little bit about the organic nature of a film festival coming together. You have a curator who's looking and screening and bringing ideas back. You have people who submit the films. Kind of at that point, they're juried because I'm sure not everybody who applies makes the film festival.
Right.
And then you have some generations of filmmakers who come back year after year or who are new to filmmaking. So tell me about how some people use Prescott's Film Festival to launch or start their careers in filmmaking.
We had a really interesting, I've been looking at old pictures for an article that the Courier is doing on the film festival. And we had three young men come out. They were called Chad, Matt, and Rob. And they did this YouTube video. You can see that on YouTube now, called The Treasure Hunt. And it was an interactive movie. So it was like choose your own adventure. And those young men invented that on YouTube. There's a Wikipedia about it. They were just, they were fantastic. And so we flew them in to do this screening. We were actually at Hendricks Auditorium, and we did the interactive with people raising their hands to vote on which way they wanted the film to go. Well, those young men, they've turned into huge movie producers. I mean, they're doing like more the horror genre. But if you look up Chad, Matt, and Rob and look up what they've done, it's pretty amazing. They did the last Scream, like Scream 4. They had a murder mystery. They have a little production company. It was called Radio Silence before, and now they go by their individual names. But I'm just, every time I've called them, they still take my call, but they've come back for workshops before.
I like to hear that. I think, this is your alumni base, your film festival. Someday they may come back and write a big check and be a sponsor of your film festival.
Exactly.
I love that.
Yes.
I love that.
Yes.
So let's talk a little bit about the opening of this year's film festival. We've talked a little bit about The Wizard of Oz, which is on Saturday at 1 p.m. The Hail Mary. Who's the director, writer, producer?
Daniel Roebuck.
Roebuck.
About 300. He's been in about 300 films as an actor.
Okay.
Yeah, he was in. Recently he was Grandpa Munster in The Munsters, that film that came out.
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic.
This is if you're an actor, come to this film. He's going to be here. This is your chance to shake hands and say, hey, this is me. I'm hand him your photo,
Well, that's the interesting thing, I think. The fun part about Prescott is I went to a play recently at the Hazeltine, and I shook the hand of Tony Tennille.
Yes.
I'm like, I just met Tony Tennille. I'm starstruck.
Yes.
So I think that's also the intimate nature about coming to our arts here in Prescott and what an art center Prescott, Arizona is. And you're really at the cornerstone of one of our art forms that Prescott is known for, and we're making sure people know more about that.
Yes.
And I think on your first day on Wednesday the 16th, Arizona Shorts and Student Short Film Program starts at 1 o'clock. And recently I went to a meeting of our PAFA, our Prescott Arizona Film Association group, right? And you did a small screening, a little taste of some of these student short films.
Yes.
And we met men and women who are moving to Prescott who say, this is a place to make movies. We want more people to come here to make film. Yeah. They're teaching film to young people. This is very exciting. Tell me about this first day at 1 o'clock on Wednesday the 16th.
It's really exciting. We have we do it first because we want the kids to come. They'll come to their own screening.
All right.
They'll get their badge, their little student filmmaker badges, and we want them to be introduced to the festival as a whole. And then we hope that they come to other screenings after that and learn how to network because, that's part of their education. We have 2 films from Prescott High School, the first 2 that are showing.
Nice.
We have 3 from Yavapai College Film and Media Arts program. We have a 48-hour film challenge The Shady Lanes is from a whole bunch of people worked together to pull that. I actually was helping on that. Shady Lanes. It was a 48-hour film challenge that was, I think we won Best Cinematography on that.
How about that?
It was fun. And then the last 4 are from a new organization called Prescott Youth Film Program that did some amazing films for these kids. And they're from ages 14 to 17. And I really hope if you end up just wanting to do one thing to support kids, come to this screening and let's give them a good audience and let people see. And, then they get to come up on stage and do a Q&A. They experience the whole thing. And that encouragement, they'll remember that the rest of their lives.
Well, that sounds like a fantastic afternoon spent just celebrating young filmmakers' creativity and artistry here in our community. Yeah. And I'm very inspired by the people that are moving here and this Prescott Youth Film Program. What's happening at the college. I didn't know that Prescott High School has a filmmaking program.
Mile High Middle School has a filmmaking program.
Is that right?
That is right.
It's kind of like ranching and farming. Start them young here out west, right?
Yes.
I would have loved something like that in junior high or high school when I was growing up. I mean,
yes.
Really. And I do want to say something here about Charlotte Hall Museum and Prescott and the arts. Charlotte Hall herself was a great supporter of the arts, a writer, a poet, an essayist. Kate Corey was one of her best friends who was a wonderful artist herself. And I think one of the things as, leaders and influencers here in this community, Helen, that one of the things that we have an opportunity to do, whether it's here at the museum, through the film festival and the college, not just through education for youth, education for all ages, but promote Prescott's grand heritage of the arts.
Yeah.
We are a literary community going back. Well, the printing press set up in the first months of the town. They were printing a newspaper. We have a literary past. Filmmaking in Arizona started in Prescott, Arizona. Yeah. We have a grand tradition of artists such as George Phippen and three-dimensional artists. Theater has been here since the territorial days. So I'm the first to put on my cowboy hat and shout from the top of the roof the importance of our rodeo and our ranching community here. What's interesting is George Phippen, cowboy, artist. Mm-hmm. And so that heritage is so blended here. People like Bill Nebaker and Heather Johnson Berry, who's doing our Charlotte Hall statue here. We have such a grand tradition of artists of many areas here.
The cowboy poets.
And, of course, the cowboy poets.
Yeah.
Coming up here in August. It's a fun summer to be here.
It
and
is. We're
actually having some cowboy poets here on June 8th. And John Fernwalt and the Rusty Pistols will be here on campus on the 8th of June. If you want to come to the Prescott Film Festival, we're going to come back in our last segment and talk about this. You can buy a ticket and special tickets for the whole week.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So why don't we take a break and we'll come back and talk a little bit how you can enjoy this festival from Wednesday through Sunday.
Okay.
Are you looking for a fun, educational outing? Charlotte Hall Museum isn't just a history display. No way. It's a real experience, from the Prescott Indian Arts Market to Charlotte's Cellar, living history adventures, author presentations, and a lecture series for those of you who take some things quite seriously. That's right, there's something for everyone. So uncover the past and create new memories and maybe have some good ideas for the future. Do it today. Visit charlottehallmuseum.org to see our full event lineup. And we hope you'll come, and hopefully we'll see you soon.
This is Stuart Rosebrook on Arizona Roundup at Charlotte Hall Museum, and my guest today is Helen Stephenson. She is the founder and executive director of the Prescott Film Festival, and we've had a great time talking about the upcoming festival, which is July 16th to 20th. That's a Wednesday through Sunday. It starts at 1 o'clock on Wednesday the 16th. It concludes with the showing of Sky High, which is a Tom Mix film, with a symphony that's going to, I mean, you have a full symphony that's going to be accompanying the silent film. And we were just talking about our Western heritage here. And Helen, you pointed out to me that because right in the middle of this film festival, we have a couple of Westerns. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, we have what we traditionally call the horse film, and this year it's always Saturday at 4:00 because that seems to be the best time for ranchers and people to come in and watch. And this year it's called A Horse Named Winks.
Okay.
And it's from Australia.
Wow, that sounds great.
And it's about this horse that just kept winning races, and it became just phenomenal across the country of Australia. But people outside of Australia don't know anything about this amazing horse. And the owners of the horse will be here. And this is the first time the film has been shown outside of Australia. So it's the international premiere. And we're really excited about it because it's a lovely documentary.
Oh, that sounds fantastic. And so this is their Secretariat or Man of War, their Sea Biscuit.
Yes. Yes.
And they are very proud of their horse traditions down in Australia. And the Australians are great filmmakers. I have a great admiration. And there's a great debate on whether you call it an Australian Western or just a straight up Western, or some people say that's a down under. But I think that sounds like a wonderful film for our horse lovers and Western aficionados here in Prescott. And then you have something very special that's been put together by one of our grand film historians here in the Prescott area, the Tom Mix Sky High, which concludes the film festival on Sunday the 20th at 2:00. Tell us a little bit about this special event.
Well, this is a newly remastered film. I've been waiting about 3 years. Rodney Sauer is the director of the Mont Alto Motion Picture Orchestra, and they're the ones that do the live accompaniment. And he's been telling me, we're going to get it done. We're going to get it done. And finally, it's like, okay, it's done for the 15th. I was so excited about that. And then he was doing some research, and because he researches the music, of course, and he found the notes for this film, the original notes. And he wrote the music around those original notes.
How about that?
This will be the world premiere of the score that they are doing. And they do this all over the world, the Mont Alto. And then the Elks Theater and Performing Arts Center approached us and said, how would you like, what can we do to support you?
Sure.
And so we thought, Tom Mix, we're bringing him back to the Elks. He used to go to the Elks.
That's right.
So we're just thrilled. To me, it's like a portal back in time.
It sure is.
Yeah.
It sure is.
Yeah.
And all of those nuances of the architecture that men like Bill Otwell, a local architect, and all our local community leaders like Elizabeth Ruffner and so many others that led the charge to restore the Elks Theater.
Yes.
So we have this amazing center of arts here in our community where we know Tom Mix went to. Maybe his movies were shown there, 100 years ago.
Well, you can read my article in Days Past coming up that talks about that.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to that. That's our Sunday articles, helped sponsored by the Daily Courier and Charlotte Hall Museum on the upcoming film festival, and Tom Mix Sky High. I think I'm going to have to figure out a way to make sure I don't miss that. That really sounds like an amazing experience. And
it was shot in the Grand Canyon, so you get to
really?
see. Yes.
Wow.
What did the Grand Canyon look like in 1922?
Oh, we might as well be Turner Classic Movies here.
Yes.
But we're Prescott Film Festival.
Yes.
And I think that TCM should be showing up at this. Speaking of that, do you bring in, we've got 5 days of films. Thursday, you've got a whole series here. You got The Paper Bag Plan, Cowboys and Hindus. The night before, Never Alone and Love Song from Hiroshima. The 15th anniversary Ruby Slippers celebration. Checkpoint Zoo, About Damn Time, A World Apart, Elvira. Friday, Rules of Living, Talking Rubbish, The Birds Who Fear Death. That's quite a title for a movie.
It's an Indigenous Canadian movie.
Really?
Yes.
That looks, they all sound so interesting. Chasing Oslo.
It's about social media.
Okay.
How it grips you.
And Feeling Blessed.
Yes.
So do film critics come here? producers, studios, are people here kind of networking, agents, meeting and greeting and networking with people here this week as well?
Actors and producers come.
Okay.
Yeah, it's mostly that. It's the producers and the directors, actually. The directors, we love to get them to come and look at Prescott as a future location. I remember back in like the second year, I had this filmmaker from LA, and he was walking around downtown, and he said, every corner I turn, I expect to see this is a set, that it's not real. And it's just so great to bring the filmmakers, because we have an Arizona film tax credit now.
Right, that's right.
We could be using that. Yeah.
Well, that's another big point of this film festival, is that how does the film festival live on after this each year? Can I go to your website and learn about every film festival or some of the alumni of the festival? How do you get involved if you want to be a volunteer? Because there's a lot of people who love films, but we're also a city of volunteers.
Yes.
Is there opportunity for people to still get involved and volunteer this year or sign up for next year?
They could sign up for next year. Let us, when you come to the festival, you'll get a survey, and the survey will have, do you want to volunteer, and a place to put your email address. But write clearly.
Most definitely. If you want to get involved, make sure they know how to get a hold of you.
Yes.
So
Yes.
talk a little bit about some of the other films that we've got on Thursday and Friday, and then going into, we have another day, Saturday morning, like Wednesday morning, where there's a whole series. Are these all shorts?
Yes.
The Silver Linings short program.
Yes.
And what's the average length of these shorts?
They're around 4 to 5 minutes average.
Okay.
Yeah. Some are 10. Yeah.
And when you watch the Academy Awards, and they have Academy Awards for short or long form film or long, documentary, are these the type of films these are young filmmakers, or it's like writing a short story. They have something to say, but they are only going to say it in fewer frames. Sure.
It is a different art form, the short film, and they're very popular. One of the films is a throwback to our anniversary, Tex the Passive Aggressive Gunslinger.
That's funny.
I laugh every time I think about the film. It's an amazing film. And we had that in a previous festival. And because I still laugh every time I read it or see the title, I thought, I want to bring that film back. So the filmmaker said, okay, you can show it. He wanted to come. He's not able to come. But now, that was at the beginning of his career. And now he writes scripts for Hallmark. He does the Hallmark movies.
How about that?
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
So if I want to get tickets, where do I go again?
ycpac.com. You can get a platinum pass, which is $305 for everything plus meals.
Wow.
So Barry Barb from El Gato Azul Torme and now Shirley's Urban Eats, he caters the food for the VIP Directors Loft and also for the opening night and closing night parties.
Okay.
So when you come Wednesday night at 7 o'clock, you watch the movie. Included in that is the after party that's catered by Barry. And then at 7 o'clock on Saturday the 19th, you watch the Hail Mary, and the same thing. We'll do the award ceremony, and then there'll be a party up on the stage for everybody that has a ticket to just come on up.
How about that? That sounds like a really special time for people.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
And I have a feeling you have people that come back year after year to enjoy this film festival.
We do.
Collecting their platinum passes.
Yes, yes.
Now, what if I don't, I can't go to everything, but I'm looking for, are there junior passes that are 1 or 2 days or just 1 day? Or if you don't buy the platinum pass, you pay as you go?
You can do the all movie pass, which
Okay.
is $155.
All right.
Or you can, and that's just go to all the movies. And then you can just do individual tickets.
All right. So if you say, you know what, I'm going to take Friday off, the 18th, you can buy your tickets for the 1, 4, and 7.
Right.
And what are our average prices for going to, oh, there it is. There's our historic clock here in my office at Charlotte Hall Museum saying hello. It is 5 o'clock somewhere. I think it's 5 o'clock here in Prescott.
Yes.
So, Helen, what's the average price of a ticket?
They're all $14 for the individual tickets. And then the Silent Symphony is, I have to look that up. because there's two different price points on the Silent Symphony, because we have the you can do an after party there. It's a closing reception for the there, and it's all on the website. Yeah.
I also noticed you have some workshops that open things up on Wednesday over at the Hazeltine Theater, as well as at the Building 19 Community Room. You have some workshops on Thursday and Friday. Yes.
On Wednesday, we are going to the Hazeltine because that was one of our theaters the first year. Mm-hmm. And that's also with the Elks. We were centered at the Elks. Right. So this is our 15th anniversary, touching base at the Hazeltine and at the Elks. And yes, we have an acting workshops. We have Alan Dean Foster coming to talk about creating characters. Mm-hmm. And actually, we have 2 acting workshops. And then 2 former Prescottonians are making a documentary about the Hazeltine and the history of the Hazeltine.
I see that. Tiffany Antone and Carissa Menifee.
Yes.
And then Matthew Condi is doing the 2 acting workshops. One on, do you have to go to both, or are they separate?
They're separate days.
Okay. Yeah. That's Wednesday and Thursday. And then Rachel Yoder, I was very interested in reading her biography because she's from the University of Iowa in Iowa City. And we lived in Iowa City for 9 years before we moved back to Arizona here in Prescott.
Yes. And that's where Tiffany and Charissa teach also, which is just a coincidence. Mm-hmm. But Rachel is a graduate of Prescott College.
Really?
And she wrote the script for a film that got nominated for Independent Spirit Award. So she can only come via Zoom, but we're really excited to have her. And not in the program guide but also on the college website and on a Facebook. Follow us on Facebook. Derek Chase is doing a workshop on the 17th at 10:30.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great. Well, I think this is going to be a very exciting week for Prescott, Arizona, film lovers from around the world. And I'm hoping that that this 15th year is just a grand success, Helen. And I look forward to participating in it as best I can. And is there anything that we want to share with our listeners one more time before they're interested in coming to the festival?
Well, the trailers are at PrescottFilmFestival.com if you want to look at the schedule and the trailers. And tickets are at ycpac.com. And follow us on Facebook.
So, and if I go to the PrescottFilmFestival.org.com website, I can click through from there over to buy tickets?
Right.
Okay, perfect. Great. Well, Helen, congratulations. Looking forward to a successful year for the great Prescott Film Festival. And Helen, thanks for doing so much for our community here in Prescott, Arizona.
Thank you so much.
All right, we'll have you back on the show soon.
Okay, thank you.
That's it for this week of Arizona Roundup with Stuart Rosebrook at Charlotte Hall Museum.
Well, that's a wrap, folks, and obviously there's very little I can say except if you are anywhere near Prescott, some people say Prescott, but that's not it. It's Prescott, Arizona. You need to find your way to the many wonderful activities in this mile-high cowboy city, which is truly one of the fine places to live, as they oftentimes say, America's favorite hometown. And of course, one of your appearances should be at the Charlotte Hall Museum, and there you'll get to meet Stuart and many of the friends and people who make that fine place one of the classic destinations in Arizona and part of the really unique museums in the Western tradition. And that's where this program comes from, Arizona Roundup, and we're glad that you are with us. We would be grateful if you would patronize our sponsors. We'd be grateful if you would recommend us to others. We want to keep, as we oftentimes say, with a smile. We're here to save the Western tradition, and who knows, with that cowboy wisdom, we might even help save Western civilization too. Have a good, safe, and wonderful weekend, and we'll see you next week on Arizona Roundup.